We have this DSP KeemStar thing. I want to play a couple of clips here because we've been out of the as Anthony would say, the DSP business for a long time now. And it's just because it's not anything personal, or it's just we felt like we ran our course with our coverage of what DSP did. He'd do silly things, but then he'd do the same silly things over and over.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of done talking about it. It's just, we kind of said it all. Well, DSP recently did the famed interview that he's been, promoting and everything. I'm going to let somebody interview me, and they're going to get the real scoop and the real story about all this hate I get.
And you'll get my side of the story.
Exactly. And,
all right, bud.
Actually, it's not a bad idea because, people go, oh, you just throwing yourself out there for an interview. Well, it worked. A lot of people wanted to talk to him.
We reached out.
Did you know? Turns out he doesn't like us very much. It's very strange.
Again, I wish people could just have fun with us.
Anyway, the SideScrollers Podcast interviewed DSP, and they asked him about the KeemStar situation. Now, a year ago,
sure,
KeemStar said
about
that
a year.
KeemStar said that he wanted to give DSP, Wings of Redemption, and Boogie 2298 a podcast and call it the
Lol Cow Podcast.
The Lol Cow Podcast, something like that. And he was offering them each $50,000 up front to do it. And then, proceeds from whatever the podcast makes on YouTube and advertising and things like that.
Yep.
It sounded like it would have been a pretty sweet deal.
Great deal.
For DSP.
DSP always needed money, much like all of us do.
Right. All of these guys were always, saying, oh, it's never enough. It's never enough. One thing I've always resented about DSP is he makes those of us who go to the fans to fund their show look like shit because he never has a set amount where he's like, guys, this is how much it costs to run the business. If you feel like chipping in, if you think the show's good, here's some perks we give you if you contribute a bunch and you're really, really generous. Here's some give backs, if you will, as a token of our appreciation. DSP just takes. He's a real haza. Takes, asks for more. There's never a set amount. It's always just more. Hey, my car broke down. Give me more money. Hey, this broke. Give me more money. Hey, I need to buy this. Give me more money. I always resented that because as a shameless e-beggar, I feel like the people you e-beg to deserve some respect.
Yeah, they do.
And it should be, hey, guys, here you go. Here's what it takes. Do you feel like chipping in? He yells at people and shits on people for not giving him money.
Or for how they give him money.
Oh, why didn't you tip me? Why did you send me a super chat? It's like, dude, work all that shit out on your own. That's your audience is being generous to you, but you don't like how they're being generous. So I always hated that. But I wasn't going to make 9,000 videos about that same thing.
No.
So he comes out and does this interview. And they ask him about the KeemStar situation. And they're like, hey, dummy, why didn't you take the $50,000 to do a show with these people? That's the problem with the Chads, the Johns, the DSPs, used to be Opie, but Opie's done a great job lately. All of these people who are laughing stocks on the internet, they won't embrace it, lean in, and be more successful with it.
I'm going to halfway argue you on one of them. Chad has it fucking figured out because that guy he's made MLC now and he makes the money on there.
He does make the money on that show.
But he still believes it is all a radio bit. He doesn't believe it's for other reasons.
Right. Chad is being humiliated.
So that's why I say halfway.
Yeah, Chad's being humiliated. Chad lies. And when the lie's exposed, he acts like he's doing a bit.
But he is making money.
Actually compared himself to Andy Kaufman the other day, which...
That means he's been listening to you because you said that.
Well, he does. He listens to us. He listens to us.
Well,
they all do.
He didn't block you.
So DSP goes on. They ask him about the KeemStar thing, the podcast offer, and this is what he had to say.
Easy. All right. I'm the kind of guy that if I can help it, I won't shop at Walmart. Okay? Why? Because I hate that company. Company has destroyed small businesses, little towns, right? Now everyone shops at Walmart because that's the best price. If I can help it, I won't. Every once in a while, I go there. But for the most part, I can't. That's the kind of guy I am.
Breaking news from the SideScrollers Podcast. DSP won't go to Walmart. There we go. It's Should have saved this shit for Crowder. That would be a breaking news story. DSP, not a fan of Walmart. By the way, Walmart didn't kill small towns. The people in the small towns killed the small towns. You don't have to shop there.
I agree with you, but I did live in a town where I watched this happen.
Why, though?
And it is because, like, the new shiny Walmart comes to town and suddenly everything on Main Street doesn't have something at the right price that Walmart does, or they don't have as big of a selection, and they will go there.
They came in with better products, better prices, and better service. And they won the business.
I do think I agree with that.
Yeah.
I do agree, though, that if Walmart hadn't showed up, Main Street would be thriving.
Absolutely. And if McDonald's doesn't show up, Burger King does better.
Yes.
You know, I mean, look, you got to put this responsibility. It's kind of like politicians. You got to put the responsibility on the people who put them there, too. You know, Walmart doesn't just show up and then businesses go, oh, Walmart's here. We don't get enough daytime sunlight now. We're going to close shop. Their friends, their neighbors, their fellow villagers abandon them and go to Walmart.
Dude, it is devastating. It's sad.
Yeah.
Main Street Litchfield is a ghost town now.
It's pretty bad. So DSP doesn't want to shop at Walmart. What this has to do with KeemStar, I have no fucking idea, but let's find out.
Maybe that's a huge flaw with me, right? But I'm not going to take money. I would feel like taking a paycheck from KeemStar is kind of like blood money. That's money he made on the backs of people.
Have you ever watched Misery Loves Company, sir? No. I don't know how it's blood money. He wants you to do a podcast with two other guys who have a lot in common with you. And then you guys would do a show. He doesn't understand. If you do a show, you get to control what's on there. That show becomes whatever you want it to be.
That was our original take when the whole offer came on the table. Actually, we said, DSP, if you don't like what people think about you, go do this show and show them otherwise.
Right. What's the Don Draper line? If you don't like what people are saying, change the conversation.
Yes.
KeemStar gave you a platform to do that, and you told him to go fuck himself.
Drama content he put out, people he's hurt to earn it. I'm not going to do that.
Didn't you start your career on like drama and hate?
But
oopsie daisy.
Not against people. I will say this. I never, if I could help it,
But the people in the
directly
Street Fighter community, like that's who you said you were targeting.
Oh, okay, that's different. And here's the thing: you're right.
How's that different?
It's no different because I've changed now. I will agree, and I've talked about this in documentaries about me.
I'm sorry, you sound like the abusive ex-boyfriend trying to get back with his girl. I've changed now. Don't worry about it.
I have heard a lot of YouTubers say that, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's why we always say, look, we'll watch your content, we'll make fun of your content, we'll tease you. No kids, no families, nothing like that. I think the only time we've ever tripped up a little is Stuttering John was talking about his kid.
He brought up the kid.
He brought up the kid, and we went, wait a minute, you don't get to hide behind your kid like that publicly and then tell people well, you can't make a joke.
And if anything, that was us trying to stick up for the kid, like don't use your kid as a shield. We weren't making fun of the kid.
And then people who hate the show anyway and they couldn't kill it, they're like, oh, we're going to use this clip. It's
I know.
Yeah, that maybe we shouldn't have brought up the kid, but we weren't the one who brought it up first.
Any port in a storm.
These people who do this shit regularly all the time and just bring it up because they're mad or angry or jealous, which is a lot of it. And then they go, oh, well, I don't do that anymore. And, you know, KeemStar falls under that a little bit. He has to take, but I think KeemStar does take responsibility. He's like, I shit on a lot of people. Yes. I did drama content. I'm not running away from that. I'm doing a different thing now, but that doesn't mean everyone should forget that I did drama content.
I've watched a ton of Trisha Paytas. She used to be a humongous online troll, and she cops to that every video she does now, damn near. And she's like, I'm changed. I know why that's wrong now, but I cop to it.
Yeah.
You're talking about something that happened in the first half of the 2000s.
I know. I'm just calling, as I said, it just sounds funny, like hearing that that I changed now. That line is so I don't know, overused.
They caught him. They caught DSP doing a thing here, and this is what a lot of people do. The rules for me and not for thee. He's trying to come up with an excuse for not taking KeemStar's money for the podcast rather than I don't want to humiliate myself. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't think I would do a very good show. Sure. That's the real reason. But he can't say that. So he's got to grasp at straws. Anytime you're making an argument you don't believe in, it's pretty easy to crack it.
Well, usually all the other person has to do is ask a simple question and they know the answer, but they don't want to say it. So let's change the topic.
Exactly. And then this guy just kind of called him out. He's like, well, you can't really say that you don't want to take that money because you took that money for a long time.
Yeah.
So what's one more time? You know, yeah, you're taking money from
hefty chunk.
Yeah, it's a 50 grand chunk. Well, hey, here's my logic. If you take the 50 grand, that's 50 grand less the blood money guy has.
Exactly. You'll spend it better.
Exactly.
Check it out.
I was an online
people.
troll in the Street Fighter community. Absolutely. There was online harassment that happened. Absolutely. I've learned from that. I've been through it myself now. And I realize how harmful that is and why you would never do it. Especially when you're someone in a position of power who has an audience.
Especially if you're an adult. Like, imagine the desperation and stinkiness and grossness of, like, I'm going to troll online. It's like, do your show. Go live a life. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. You're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s at this point. Just stop. You're embarrassing yourself.
To actually troll people, to do drama against people, that's so harmful to them. I would never do that for personal gain anymore, ever again. And taking that money from KeemStar, I feel like I'm taking money from other people who've been hurt in order to benefit.
Horse shit.
Well,
no, this is not a moral stance issue. You don't want to be made a fool of by KeemStar. So you're not taking his money, but you don't want to admit what it is.
I still say just take the money and change what people think about you. Do the show that like you want to be known for then and take the money.
Right. So then KeemStar called into the show and the SideScrollers put him on. And by the way, check out the SideScrollers channel. It's at SideScrollers on YouTube. Go watch the interview. We're not going to play the whole interview because it's theirs. They should get the views for it, the whole deal. Yeah. And this is from DSP Tries It. Memology did this one. Let's check out KeemStar showing up.
Or this interview, or whatever you want to call it, is you describing problems that you have in your life, paying bills, being harassed by, your detractors or whatever. And I actively went out of my way to solve major problems in your life. And me and you are not friends. In fact, before I put together this business opportunity for you,
I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills, the electric bill, the internet bill.
Me and you were fighting back and forth. It started with you on your podcast out of nowhere, reacting to me retiring when I turned 40. And you said, well, that guy's evil and, all these horrible stuff and blood money, whatever you said about me, because you
got to get those shots in on his way out the door, right?
Because he's gone now.
Yeah. Right? You don't start the shit when he's active. You hit him on his way out. Right.
You don't like my show Drama Alert. And many of your detractors picked up on right away that the reason why you don't like my show and you don't support me is because we covered the fapping situation in 2016.
Oh, that's completely untrue. Dude, you covered it fairly.
Go ahead, respond, Phil.
You covered it fairly. You didn't even really harp on it.
By the way, the fapping incident, DSP jacked off on stream.
Did not know the camera was rolling.
Didn't know the camera was on. Didn't know he was streaming.
Oh,
and he jacked off with his greasy hair and his unkempt look, and he made all the faces,
all the movements.
I'm the reason I'm not looking into the camera right now is because I can't.
You can't unsee that. Like I don't care how hot the guy is. I don't want to watch him doing that.
How hot is DSP?
I
Right.
don't want to be too mean about it. There's worse than him. I've seen much worse.
Look.
But,
I saw the man jerk off, and I shouldn't have.
One of your guys contacted me behind the scenes, said, do you have anything else to add? Do you want to be on the show? I was like, no, you covered it fairly. I don't think you were unfair at all. That's not the case.
Thank you, because I don't think I was unfair either,
No, not at all. Who told you that? That's bullshit. That's the detractors making shit up.
False, wrong, incorrect.
And he doesn't support me. And I responded.
Hold on, Keem, is that true, Phil?
I don't know. I'm sure I criticized him. I don't know specifically what he's talking about.
Oh, come on.
Did a super chat asking about KeemStar. I don't give two fucks about KeemStar. I don't want to talk about him ever again. Seriously, the guy's a waste of time in life. So I'm not even going to address that. I'm just going to say thanks, Smokey, for the super chat. Moving on to more important things in life that aren't human turds.
I mean, that's kind of shitting on KeemStar a little bit.
That's so funny and childish, though.
It is.
That's a really childish insult.
Yeah. Memology does a good job. He just kind of clips this shit up.
I don't know exactly what was said. I'm going off of memory, but it was something along those lines. The clip gets sent to me by multiple people. So I respond to Phil because the only thing I know about Phil is him being a lol cow, right? Him on stream begging for money to pay rent and stuff like that. That's all I know about him. So I responded to him on Twitter, which I thought was pretty clever. In gaming terms, and I explained to him that like we are roughly the same age. We've been doing YouTube for like 15 years each. We started at the same time, and I'm retiring now, and I don't ever have to work again. So I have completed this video game of YouTube. And
everybody should be very happy for anyone who can do that.
That's pretty sweet.
I mean, awesome for KeemStar. He made such a great living that at 40 years old, he can now Keem's kind of in an Opie position where he can, anything he does on YouTube, it's whatever he wants to do recreationally. Exactly.
Said to Phil, you're still on level 1. All right. You're still on level 1 and you're restarting, level 1 over and over again, like a video game, and you're getting nowhere. You're still at the point where you're begging people on stream to pay your bills and whatnot. And I thought that was a good response, right? Even though I am talking trash and, we got a little drama going on for Twitter and whatnot.
Well, you gotta perform. You got to entertain your audience. You can't just like...
It's pro wrestling, right?
Yeah, you can't just list things like you're a professor.
Sure.
You got to throw in a few jokes here and there.
I thought that I was actually giving you good advice.
Low cow. The best way to give life advice is to, say it in an insulting way, for sure. I mean, makes everyone very receptive to it, correct?
Right.
Sure
well,
do a
fair
nice
point, but
slap it.
Let him finish, Keem.
On Twitter. Is there some truth to it? Yes. Okay. But here's the thing: if you have a criticism of me, then criticize me fairly in a way where maybe I have a chance to have a conversation. Instead, you just go to your platform.
Like what? Like maybe do a podcast?
I know you could have gone on the podcast, and you could be taking his money and changing his mind at the
maybe
same time.
Do a show. Yeah, like
you say something nasty about me on there. I'm a tiny little guy. Okay.
Aww.
When I say something on my stream, who hears it? A couple hundred people. Yes, my detractors then echo it. They extrapolate it all over the internet. Boom, it's amplified. Correct. But
makes you more famous.
It is true. Anyone who doesn't like you but still says your name and talks about you, does videos on you, they're just spreading your name around.
It expands your audience. It makes you bigger.
Yeah.
What do they say? A hate view is the same as a like view. It's the same deal.
It's still promotion.
Yeah.
Little guy. You are a big guy, Keem. You're huge. You have a giant reach on the internet.
A big cock, Keem. You got the biggest dick I've ever seen. Huge set of balls on you. Jesus.
Have you seen his girlfriend?
I thought, right.
Or wife or whoever. I'm sorry if that's insulting. Sorry.
Understand that the stuff that you say and do has repercussions for everyone around you. You seem to be someone that you're not self-aware. You don't understand.
Holy shit, maybe it's the Celsius, but I'm having a heart attack. Did Dark Side Phil, April, and we haven't covered him in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Did Dark Side Phil just accuse someone of not being self-aware?
Yeah. No, you heard that right.
If he's being funny, this is the funniest fucking podcast I've ever listened to in my life.
I know.
KeemStar is not self-aware. You cannot have that beard for as many years as KeemStar's had it and not be self-aware. I'm sorry.
Understand that when you say something like that, now I have to live with that shit for months on end. I get, you're on level 1. Phil, level 1. You've been for 15 years. You're just
he is jaded.
Look, Phil, if they would have lied and said, like, you have tuberculosis, that's unfair because then people think that and they say that about you and that's really shitty. You've shit on him before. He's shitting on your content. I've always said shitting on content is fair game.
It is.
Nobody should shut you down or, do anything like that for shitting on content. If you get personal, family, shit like that, then you're a scumbag, then you're a piece of shit. But if KeemStar is going to say, hey, look, this guy's on level 1. This guy's show ain't shit. This guy's show is fucking terrible. Mm-hmm. That's okay. If enough people agree with it, it will overwhelm you like it has Phil. That means that those people might have a point. But if it's just a few people now and again, then they're just fucking stupid. Well,
KeemStar's also looking back on it like as somebody who's completed the game. Like he said, he's looking like, well, I've been at that step before. So he's still stuck back here and I'm trying to help him out of it, but he's not accepting the help.
KeemStar's looking back at Phil, holding a hand out and going, hey, I'll give you. Phil just wants Keem to give him the 50 grand, no strings attached. Oh, but Keem, the way you offered me the 50 grand, you were kind of a dick about it. How dare a guy who admits he's on level 1 turn up his nose at 50 grand because Keem wasn't polite enough when he offered it to him?
Dude, I'll admit I'm on level 1 all day long for 50 grand.
Right.
I don't care.
Keem, you want to do a podcast? 50 grand and a cut of super chats and ad revenue.
This guy wants to get in on the boxing shit.
Keem, let me be your boxing commentator.
There you go.
Amateur boxer, still active. Let me be a commentator. Let me be a interviewer. Whatever. It'll be fun, Keem. I'll get in there. I'll be part of Happy Punch.
Level 1. Do you think?
Play-by-play experience.
There you go.
I'll be your play-by-play guy, Keem. There you go. I'll take it. And if he says, this guy does a small podcast, I'm like, fucking right, sure do. When's the next Happy Punch? Yeah.
I do a small podcast.
Yeah.
That?
That's a good point. That's a good spot to
Oh no.
hold up. Should we do one more Keem clip on this DSP thing? Are you enjoying this?
Yeah.
Let's do one more Keem clip and then we'll go to Opie.
I wanted to solve this issue for not just you, but Wings and Boogie. I looked at all of you guys, you're lolcows, right? You have more haters than like supporters, right? But really, they're all fans. They are all fans. They're all obsessed with you and watching your content nonstop.
There is a reason Keem is in the spot he's in and DSP is in the spot he's in.
Yep.
You know?
One of them has it figured out.
There's a reason when you go on Social Blade and look at our YouTube numbers, and then you go on Social Blade and you look at the people who wish they were us and are obsessed with us. There's a reason we're here and they're here. There's a reason Keem is up here and DSP's down here. KeemStar plowed ahead, did his content, did his stuff, presented it for his fans. DSP whined and complained, why aren't I more like the KeemStars? Why aren't I more like these other people? If you just sit there and whine and piss and moan, why not me? Instead of working on yourself, realizing you're not good enough and getting better, you're going to be stuck there forever. So, I mean, I cannot better illustrate the difference in success levels between Keem and DSP than the way this interview is going right now.
Dark side, fill the lol cow.
The solution really is to get the three of you to do a podcast. All right. Those haters are going to watch. They're going to absolutely love that these three guys have come together to make content. Now,
and who knows, maybe if you embrace that, they'll end up liking you because you'll have a sense of humor about it.
Hell yeah. And if you think they're not going to super chat and shit to get their things said,
absolutely.
You know.
Between the three of you, you guys don't have the business sense to like really figure this out and make this thing actually happen. But I do. All right.
Can't argue.
And you guys don't even understand how valuable you are as individuals, as entertainers, because you look at the numbers and you're looking at everything and like, oh, well, I've fallen off. And, you know, that's the mindset that you have. Right. But I have a different mindset for each and one of you, that you guys are amazing entertainers, but just not in the way that you want to be, right? You're lolcows, but there's so much value there. By putting the three of you together.
Brendan never learned this. John never learned this. Like you said, Chad's half learned it.
I do think he has it half figured out. He just doesn't know why.
Yeah, he doesn't know why, but he's accidentally stepping in the right direction. Yeah, or he denies it.
But he's got the money part figured out.
Sure.
And, you know, each one of you would own 25% of this podcast. All right. We never got to have this conversation. So I do want to have it now, even though I know you're not going to do it. All right.
Oh my God, did DSP Crowder KeemStar where they didn't even get into the specifics of the deal? And he went, we got to stop Big Keem. Join the DSP mug club. That's what DSP needs, is a mug.
Maybe.
Then he'll get there. Stop Big Keem.
Also own 25%. I would do the business aspect of it. I've had many success selling podcasts to exclusive deals with Spotify and other companies. Multi-million-dollar deals. All right. I wanted to put the three of you together for this show. I would do the business side of the things. And I knew that all three of you would be in a situation where you didn't really trust me, or you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, and you'd have a lot of doubts. So I was just going to take my own money and take $150,000, give you each, just to start off before we even filmed an episode, 50 grand up front to let you know that I was serious and I believe in this concept.
This is how you know this guy will never move up. That the business sense of that makes a ton of sense. It's does. Perfect.
And this idea.
Man, I'm stupid.
Now,
well, and that was coming from a dude who's retiring
Yeah.
by 40, right?
And now just like is investing in podcasts and trying to find shit to do. Yeah.
Good for that guy.
Vlad the Dragon says he's not even paying attention. He's sulking like a child.
Right. He's completely zoned out now. And, he, just, when's this conversation over?
Vlad's right. Yeah. PH Cheddar says KeemStar is exactly correct.